opportunity. That's like, is it?
I was interviewing my father about the way he wipes his ass.
Giant baby.
That tasted like a can of SpaghettiO sauce.
Yeah, like Chef Boyardee.
Yeah, like Chef Boyardee, exactly.
Yeah,
I wonder if I can find a way to like spray my semen on her face even when I'm not there.
Yeah, it's like a moral fucking dilemma.
It's an AIDS advertisement.
Oh, this is god awful.
Not the boobs.
This is not amateur hour. Yo.
Yo.
Number 145.
There's a precursor to my following statement, and it says, generative AI is experimental. Info and quality may vary. 145 is a powerful and positive sign that indicates a major transition, change, and manifestation in your life. Whatever it is, in love, career, finances, or spirituality, this number calls on you to take
Are you
action
doing fucking numerology
and
again?
make necessary changes.
Did you just fucking ambush me with numerology?
I just thought it would be funny to throw some numbered things at you, because it's episode 145. It's about manifesting our life, or manifesting the change.
145-ness.
Manifesting the change in our finances and spirituality.
Sure.
Via After Dinnermans. Welcome.
Welcome. Nolan here.
Jason.
So by special request, fucking on the list today is I don't respect red lights. So this is something I've noticed, and like I don't know, like to say I notice is weird because it's almost like an active decision, but I've just like I don't really care about red lights at all anymore. Not in this like.
That's you're in a car usually, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little different than me. Not caring about red lights on a bicycle.
I don't know, but you not caring about a red light in the bicycle doesn't typically put you in the middle of the road, right? Like,
oh no, it does, because I
yeah, that's true,
like,
because you're crossing an intersection.
For me, I'm zooming through the intersection when I'm not supposed to be.
Yeah,
it's like anything goes.
So all right, so when you do that, how are you gauging? Because you can't just like be recklessly cruising through and rolling the dice every time, because you would have to consider that you're potentially suicidal. So if that's what you're doing.
No. So when I heard that topic, I thought like, shit, I fucking don't respect red lights at all, ever. Like they're my fucking like thorn in my side. Like as a bicyclist in the city, you either have to stop every block or every block. There's a stop sign or a red light in the city, right? There's a 25 mile per hour speed limit and you can't really move faster than that because of the stop and go or whatever. So usually though, here's the thing, like when you stop at a red light, like it kills your momentum, then you have to go and like start pedaling all over again, you know?
That makes sense.
And it's like a whole thing. So really what I try to do is like just slow down. Like now I know the areas I drive to have a better idea, and the fact that it's like a lot of one ways, I only have to look one way to see like where the cars are coming from.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
I have a very good ability to pick up on the amount of time it will take me to get across the intersection versus how far the car is away. Right. And it's just like quick judgments, like the time and the speed, because it's like it's just like math, I guess, right? Like if one train leaves the station at going 20 miles an hour, so I frequently find myself zooming through. Like every stop signs or red lights, and really like a lot of times I just go further to the other side from where the cars would be to allow myself a couple extra feet of space, like clearance. So if the cars are coming from the right, I'll cross all the way on the left side of just from my little buffer.
That makes sense.
Fuck red lights.
See, I've been just like having this just like real lack of respect for the changing of the light from yellow to red, to the point where like I think most people kind of treat a yellow light. See, I will drive differently if someone's in the car. Like if someone's in the car, I'm trying to make sure I don't get them killed. Mm-hmm. But which is like a fight starter sometimes, because Allegra is commonly saying to me The yellow light means speed up to get through before the red.
That's what it does.
So
I thought that's what it is. It's like hurry up and go.
It means slow the fuck down because the cars are going to come the other way any second now is what it means.
But there's a couple second buffer. Like they don't just immediately start flowing this way. There's like a...
But the couple second buffer is the yellow light.
Well, that's what,
That is what it is.
I guess.
In the time from yellow to red is the buffer, because as soon as you have a red light, they have a green light.
But they have to actually start moving, sure.
So I've just been like, more and more recently, and only when other people are in the car, because I'm not going to like put anyone else in danger. But just like I could be very far from the yellow. Like I've been cutting it real fucking close, to put it that way, to where like cars coming in the opposite direction are just laying into the fucking horn because it was clearly fucking red. And I was like, I don't care. And I'm just going. And I've just been noticing that I've been doing that more and more and more. Like even to the point where I've been treating red lights more like stop signs where, like I could be... Like, I'll just go if there's not cars coming or if there's like a fair distance. And even like, so, and like on a highway, like if I'm stopping on like 73 and there's like cars coming like down 38 at the intersection, but they're like far enough away that I'm like, I could fucking make this. Like, I will just go. I don't fucking care because, first of all, red light tickets do not hold up in court. And my judgment's pretty fucking good. And, if it's bad and I get fucking smacked up and, I'm a vegetable, then I deserved that and I took my own chance. But like, I'm more confident in myself than I am in other drivers. So I'll just go.
Yeah. I mean, so, okay, for what it's worth, I've gotten hit by a car 3 times over like my 20 plus years of bicycling, all within like an 18-month period, none of which were me driving through a red light or stop sign. They were all just me going straight down the road and some car doing whatever.
Right.
But yeah, no, I as a passenger in a car, I find myself like frequently getting like I want to become indignant at the person for stopping, for slowing down. Like I'm like I just all the time I want to admonish them and be like, we could have gotten there 2.5 minutes sooner if you were just fucking gone through the light, and now we're sitting here listening to a fucking commercial and like doing nothing, staring at whatever. Like I get very antsy about that shit.
Yeah, I just I definitely, in like other forms of traffic that besides highway driving, I definitely treat it more like it's a stop sign. Like I'm not going to fucking stop for it. Like on like a township road or something, I'll just look both ways and go.
Yeah.
Because like why am I fucking waiting if there are clearly no cars coming in the opposite direction? You're gonna write me a ticket for what? For not causing an accident?
Yeah.
Like, of course, like, I won't get a ticket written because I'm not doing it if there's a fucking cop behind me.
Well, yeah.
But, like, yeah, I don't care about them anymore. Like, at all. And even more so than that, like, anywhere where it's like, no left turn. Fuck you. Like, first of all, no right turn. There's not a chance I'm fucking following that sign, or like no turn on red. There is a less than 1% possibility that I'm going to respect that suggestion.
Yeah.
Like, why can't I make a right on red anywhere? Like, there's nowhere. There might be one place, out there somewhere where like, it's like a 5-point intersection and one's just really hard to see, so you can't make a right so somebody doesn't like come out of nowhere and crush you. But a right's a right, dude. Like you can see everything and that's the flow of traffic. If there is like on the list of things that I don't respect, it's like red lights and then like I respect like child molesters less than red lights, and I respect don't turn right on red signs even less than that. Like there's no chance that I'm not doing it.
I'm pretty much with you, except with one exception, I think. So I get very antsy for people that I know. Like if I'm driving with somebody I know, I want them to go through all the yellow and red lights to just get us to where we're going faster,
Right.
to be efficient. But when you don't know the driver, like if you're in an Uber,
Yeah.
it's fucking terrifying. I had a driver pulling up on like a fairly busy street, like in the like rush hour, like on Spring Garden Street, and
Sure.
come up to the light and just like stop and like look both ways, but then say something along the lines of like, "Oh, we got this," and then just like gun through like a. So that street is like it's like 4 lanes. It's like 2 lanes and then an a median or like a like a.
I know exactly where you're.
Yeah, and then like 2 more lanes. So it's just like, yeah, we got this, and then just zoom like down the street.
Yeah.
When you don't know that person and you don't know what they're doing or on or where they just came from or what's going on in their day, like it's fucking terrifying, man.
I can see that.
I like almost shit my pants. I was like immediately like on the thing with support on Uber and like reporting the driver and stuff. Like, holy shit, man. Yeah. So I guess Uber drivers, stop at your fucking red lights. So,
I don't know if that would terrify me or make me like the person more.
I mean, I don't like so.
Because there's a lot of people who just have like way too much. I'm one of them. Way too much confidence in what they're fucking capable of. So it's like, I know how frequently I overestimate myself. So, I think I'm more self-aware than the average person. So like somebody else going like, I got this. I'm like, no, the fuck you don't.
Well, it's like a time and a place. Like if you got this, like make sure you just got it on your time, like not mine.
Right.
Like not when I'm paying you money to like get me somewhere safe. Like it's fucking terrifying.
You got to know that there's a portion of them that's thinking that like, I'm going to get a better tip if I get them home sooner. So they're going to be like,
they're
going to be happy that I'm blowing red lights.
I actually think that they said something slightly along those lines. Like, I'm just trying to get you there sooner or something.
Yeah.
Like justifying it all the way.
Yeah.
I've actually had like, I got to tell you the quality, maybe
because you probably saw the fucking fear in your eyes and was like, I'm doing this so I get 5 stars.
Yeah, it might be my luck, but it might not. The quality of driver that exists, at least on Uber, I can't say the same about Lyft, honestly, which I think I use them fairly evenly, but sure. I've just had some really poor experiences with Uber recently, like really, really poor, like somebody not be the right driver, like showing up as a man when they're supposed to be a woman, and then like
fuck that.
And then sitting on the phone and then seeing a billboard for like a most wanted, like state most wanted criminal,
sure,
and being like, yo, they still looking for Jerome, like
right,
okay, that makes me feel good,
right?
Or like this guy that's like coming over the bridge and like at 1 a.m. from Camden, taking me back to PA, and then we get to the top of the bridge, he's like, oh, we're finally going back to New Jersey. And I'm like, no, man, we just came from New Jersey. You're taking me to Philadelphia. Like, what are you doing right now that you don't see the sign that says welcome to Pennsylvania? Like, that's, I don't know, man.
That's fucked.
Uber needs to step their game up a little bit, I think.
I've been fair. I feel like I don't want to fucking say this because I'm going to like go to fucking Colorado next week and get some fucking crazy Uber driver. My luck has been better than not. I'll put it that way. Like I've had a couple like, what the fuck am I doing in this car type of, but never like where I was panicked or afraid, more where I was like, I just wish somebody else had fucking picked me up.
Oh my God, dude.
But, I did have one driver tell me and like 3 other people that I was traveling with that we were the best ride she had because we were the last ride she was ever going to do and she wasn't going to fucking quit the second she dropped our asses off. And I was like, okay, cool.
My like two Uber drivers not so long ago, I had the guy that was like, oh, we're going to New Jersey. Like, right. Once we got to the bottom of that same bridge. So actually, like before we got to the bridge, I don't think I told this part on the podcast. Pulling up to the bridge, the guy has no money for the toll, right? And he's like, he talks to the woman. He's like, I have no money. Like, what do I do? And she's like, oh, I got you. Like, I used to be an Uber driver. Like, there's a protocol.
Yeah.
This is what you do.
Yeah.
And then he acknowledges that, and then he like pulls forward like 25 feet and then stops and then says, yo, what did she just say we have to do? Like, then he goes, oh, fuck it, we're already through now. Let's go. Like, like he was supposed to pull over. She said, go pull over. Like,
Wait. So this is the same person who got to the other side of the bridge and was like, oh, we're back in Jersey.
he told me when he got to the bottom of the bridge, he told me that he was a blood. That he was
This
like,
is all the same person.
this is the same person. Yeah. This is after I went to see Sublime recently, like in Camden, and caught a ride home on an Uber. The guy, like, as soon as he, like, it was like later in the evening and there was not a lot of options, right? And the guy, like, couldn't find me. So I was standing out front of the venue or whatever, and the security guard that's, like, inside,
Right.
like, comes out to be like, yeah, are you all right, man? Like, so I was like, yeah, this dude just can't find me. Like, I don't know what to tell him. Like, I told him where I am, right?
Right.
So the security guard gets on the phone. He's like, yo, I'm just trying to help this guy, like, help you find this guy right here. And he goes, oh, just so you know, he's like, tell him I'm not one of those regular Uber drivers. I'm one of those good time, like, I'm one of those party Uber drivers. I just want to make sure he has a good time, right? That's what he was saying to him, like, as I'm standing there on the phone, like, 2 feet from him. So the options for me to get home alternative to this gentleman were not vast. So I, like, crossed my fingers and got in the car. And then, yeah, he listens to the woman as we cross the toll, and she tells him to pull over right there so he can get his license plate photographed. And he gets right through and says, what did she just say? Let's go anyway. And then we get over the bridge, and he's like, you know, I'm one of them bloods. He's like, it's hard out there or something. And that's when I got out of the car, like 10 blocks before my house, and walked very briskly the other direction away from him because I just thought, you know, that was my time.
That's, yeah, dude. I don't fucking know.
Fucking terrifying, man. So yeah, red lights.
Red lights
and Uber drivers. Step your game up, Uber.
Yeah, I do. There's a turn right down the street from here where it's like you're supposed to cross the highway and then make a left once, like not a jug handle. Like I'm okay with a jug handle, but you're supposed to cross the highway and then make a left on this side street and then make a right to like make a left, and like
nobody ever knows what to do.
Yeah, first of all, like it's the only one like that cross. So it's like the highway's Route 38, and it's the only. Like I cross this highway, like I live a mile from it. It is basically my main way everywhere.
Yeah.
Because it's like I leave this neighborhood and then I take that highway either over the bridge into Philadelphia or away from Philadelphia to get to the other highway to either go north or south through New Jersey. You know, like it's rare that I go any other direction. So I take this highway, or at least cross this highway every fucking day, multiple times, using multiple streets. This is the only street, the one that I live on, that's like, oh, you have to make a left to cross. You have to like cross the highway and make a left and make a right. I do not fucking do it. And because it's like, first of all, why? Why this one particular street do you have to make a left? That does not make sense to me. I do not understand why. And I don't do it. I make the left every fucking time. And there will be times where like people behind me. So like first of all, I won't do it if there's oncoming traffic. I'm just not going to just drive into another fucking car. Like that's the one time I will cross, but there almost never is. There's almost never cars come in the opposite direction. So if, you know, in the event that there is, I will cross it and then make the left and the right to make the fucking left. And it literally adds 2 minutes to the trip. Like
that's the way the GPS directs you to, though. Because that's like many of when I get a ride over here, like most of the people are like, what am I supposed to do now?
And it doesn't make fucking sense. Yeah. It adds time. And yeah, the GPS directs you that way because it knows the road. But there's actually not, like, really that light it should be like every other light that crosses the highway, and one side goes first and the other side goes second. Because the reality is, with all the people making that weird fucking turnaround, it's holding up traffic anyway and making everyone take longer, so you might as well just have like a double light. But so I won't make the left if there's like oncoming traffic, but if there is not, I will. Like 100 fucking % of the time, I will. And they're like, you know who the locals are because they're behind me laying on the fucking horn, just like beeping at me as if I'm doing something that's holding up their day.
By sitting at the light, you mean?
No, by making the left.
Oh.
Like I'll make the left and the people behind me will be fucking
Instead
mad. And it's like,
yeah, I see what
you
you're saying.
understand that I just got out of your way fucking faster? Like I'm making this left and like for some reason, somehow you think this is holding you up. But the reality is, if I was to fucking cross the intersection and wait to make the left at the next fucking light, I would have held you up for an additional fucking 3 minutes. Nothing has slowed you down. I saved you too. And it's just like, what are you mad about? Because there's a sign.
Make that left right there. Like,
yeah.
Because I know exactly what
like,
you're talking about.
Are you mad because there's a sign in the street that says I'm not allowed to do the thing that there is no logical reason that I'm not allowed to do? Fuck off. Lay on your horn, dickhead. Like, what the fuck do I care?
Yeah.
Every fucking time I will make that left. Every time.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I mean, as a bicyclist, I do obey like some, traffic things. Like I only go like the right way on the one-way streets, right? Like I do not ride against that shit or whatever.
Right.
And I do like I like mostly stick to the bike lanes, but fucking if I stopped at every stop sign and every red light, I would never be able to get anywhere. It would it would just take me forever. Like to literally stop at every block and then start ride. Like it would be exhausting and it would just never get anywhere.
I never understood why bikes ride the same way as traffic. Like I get that it's a vehicle, so it should go the same way as traffic, but given the size discrepancy, it would make more sense to me that bikes are going the opposite direction of traffic, riding in the shoulder so that they can see oncoming traffic. That way they're not blindsided by anything. Because I have to imagine most bikes are hit either from the side or behind.
I was told, so it reduces the impact because you're going in the same direction as the car.
But it increases the likelihood of an impact.
I don't know. I've never actually gotten hit from, no, I've only gotten hit from the side. Yeah, I've never gotten hit from behind. And it is just like some blind faith. Like a lot of times I'll just ride out into the lane. Like if I have to go around a car, and I glance back, but I also just have faith that like some car is not going to come and plow into me or some septibus or something.
See, to me, that's like I'm relying on the person who's behind me to not hit me, which I trust less than relying on myself to see someone coming at me and getting the fuck out of the way. Because if someone's coming at me, I just have to move to the left or the right? Like I'm bobbing and weaving. I don't have to increase my speed. If someone's coming from behind me, I have no option but to try to increase my speed in order to create distance to then decide if I need to go to the left or the right, which is like 3 times the work to make sure I don't get hit, which makes me feel like I'm 3 times as likely to get hit.
I used to, like when I was younger, I would only ride into traffic because I wanted to see what was coming at me, right? But I guess now I think I couldn't do it. Like now that feels dangerous to me for some reason that I don't really fully understand.
Probably because you're just used to it.
Yeah, it's like because I guess it feels like I'm going the wrong way on a one-way street or something,
Yeah.
Like it's rarely apparent to me. But yeah, I think that's what it is. Like, so if I'm going the wrong way on a one-way street, like I'm coming at somebody going like, I'm going 20 whatever miles an hour and they're going like 20. So it's like a 40 mile per hour collision versus like.
Is that how that math works?
I don't know, maybe. Versus if I'm going like, 20 miles an hour this way and they're going 20 and they just bump into me and I fall to the ground or something. I think it's like, I guess it's that.
I guess it makes sense, but aren't you more likely to travel in the direction of the impact? So they're going 20 and you're going 20 and they hit you from behind and you fall forward and they run you over before they have a chance to realize what happened.
Well, hopefully I would fall into like the cars on the side on the, the shoulder or something.
Ideally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just, it makes sense the way you explain it, but I've just never really understood it.
Do you know why I hate red lights though?
Why?
Fucking CAPTCHAs, man. CAPTCHAs. Do you ever see like it's like pick out the red lights, like which one is a red light, which one is a green light or whatever. Like the image CAPTCHAs, it's like
reCAPTCHAs.
Match 3 cheeseburgers. Which one is a cat? Which one is a red light? Which one is a bicycle? Like select all the boxes that have red lights in them. Select all the boxes that have bicycles in them. Oh my god.
Is that really something that like an AI couldn't do? It doesn't seem seems like terribly unlikely
that's a really
they wouldn't be able to do that.
So I actually just read this whole thing on so the CAPTCHAs are based on what's his name, Richard Turing, the Turing test, like the psychologist.
Yeah.
Who had created like was that the ink blot guy? I'm not sure.
No, that's Rorschach.
That's Rorschach.
Turing is like the Turing test is like the test where artificial intelligence becomes indiscernible from actual intelligence.
Yeah. So basically
The uncanny valley.
Yeah.
It's called. Yeah.
So I read this article in Wired, who like gave me their magazine for like $5 for a year or something. So now I get like physical bathroom reading materials once again. Like it's like 5 pages wide, but
yeah.
Whatever. So there's a really interesting one I was just reading about just that. Like there's now bots whose sole application is to trick other bots into thinking they're human to defeat CAPTCHAs, right? So like they're basically beating, like they are beating there's some that beat the Turing test, I guess, at this point. Like whether it's like seeing like blurred like numbers or images or picking out the right photos. There's bots who's like they're programmed just to convince another bot that they're human. So it's like it's just robots talking to robots. And then it goes on to posit that like maybe the robots are really training us to tell us, like, to make sure that we're talking to them how they want us to talk to them. Like when I talk to my Alexa Echo Dot thing,
fucking creepy,
and it doesn't like tell me the right thing I want it to, I have to say it the way that I know that it will respond to me, right? So in a way, it's like they're training us, right? This is like the way that the researcher put it. Like, it's kind of terrifying, right?
I wish you didn't say that out loud. I'm never not going to think.
I just read that this morning while I was taking a shit.
It makes so much sense to me. Like when I used to teach, like restaurant employees to fucking deal with customers, I would be like, well, say this, like every time you say it. Mm. And they would be like, yeah, but like, what if like guest wants to hear it? Like, like they would like say like everybody speaks differently. And I'm like, no, you got to understand, you following the same procedure, following the same thought pattern, speech pattern, action pattern will train your repeat customer to do what you need, which will make your job easy over time. Rather, like, you should never, we're like giving away trade secrets. Fuck it though, because there's a lot of people who disagree with this and they are wrong, and this is why their businesses fail. Fucking, you should. The idea, this conversation could go 10 different directions, and I'm not sure which one it will. So let me start here, which is a bridge off of where we just were. You should never accommodate the customer in a way that doesn't fit into what you are expected to do. Going above and beyond for the guest is not doing something that you wouldn't normally, it may be do something that you wouldn't normally do for another guest, but it's never breaking the rule for them. And when you do that, like when what you do to accommodate a guest or a customer or a client is within the parameters of what you think is acceptable and how you or your company or whatever, your business has determined is acceptable client interaction, then you are always training the client to behave in the way that you want, so that over the long term, your job is easier because you only have to do things one way. Whereas if your goal is to be as accommodating as possible to every client or customer or guest, which a lot of businesses say, like, go above and beyond, do it, nothing's off limits to make them happy. All of those businesses fail inevitably because they don't have a standard way of doing things.
Yeah, it could create fucked up expectations.
Right. Like, so everyone has different expectations, including the person who has to execute the task, because now they don't have a standardized way of doing things. So, and then like people like grasp that concept like pretty easily, and they go, oh yeah, like, like training a dog. If you just do this, like, that ultimately, like, you could debate all day long, like, do I use a shock collar? Do I use a prong collar? Do I use positive reinforcement only and just reward them when they do the thing I want them to do?
Are you talking about employees or animals?
A dog.
Oh, a dog.
Like, ultimately, the only thing that matters, like, all of those tactics work, But the only thing that really, really matters is that you are unbelievably consistent with what you are doing so that they know exactly what to expect and conform to, because they'll realize like, okay, there's no change here. So I'm going to adapt to what is standard. That's what you said fucking robots are doing to us. And that is so easy for me to comprehend. And it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, kind of.
And I don't really like use, except to say like, hey Siri, set an alarm for 4:00. Like I don't use, and like I do not do fucking Alexa or Hey Google or Siri. Like I don't like legitimately, except for setting an alarm. So like, yeah. It makes me happy that I don't do that, but it makes so much fucking sense that like AI is probably so much more, and I'm creeping myself the fuck out, is probably already so much more advanced than even the people who are developing it realize it is. That like, it's probably been going on for years.
Yeah.
That we've just been being groomed into like.
Well, the one I read one thing that the big tech companies got together and decided upon uniformly was that they wouldn't release the technology that had the ability to discern people's likeness, like their like facial recognition software, like commercial facial recognition software, because they felt like it would like infringe upon like a lot of people's privacy and this and that. So like 5 years or so ago, they made a collective decision to not like put it out as it was, and now they only use it for like unlocking your cell phone or like not somewhat like innocuous like or innocent like little chores or tasks, but nothing serious. Yeah, it's fucking kind of terrifying.
There's a guy named Marshall McLuhan.
Okay.
And he's like he's a media theorist. Like basically his background is in like studying media and the impact that like media has on the way people think. But I think if I can try this in English again, I think the thing that he is most well known for is he made a statement where he said humans are just the sex organs of the machine world. And it's like, when you think about it that way, you're like, oh fuck, he's 100% right. Like there's something else out there that we are giving way to, and we are going away, and it is taking over.
Yeah,
like we're on the way out.
There was like 1982 gets like frequently quoted as like being this like iconic sci-fi like future whatever that came to
1984.
1984. I'm sorry, 1984. But who was it? I think his name is Vance Packard or something. Wrote a book in the like Mad Men era, like 1940s and 50s, called The Hidden Persuaders, which was like, it was, I think its purpose was for marketing, but it theorized a time when exactly this would be happening. Like the robots would be like just casually influencing the way that we do things, like the way that we interact with each other, the way that we interact with other machines like them or like other machines, right?
Yeah.
And it's certainly happening. Like there's only so many words you can use to like initiate conversations, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, it's a lot of stuff, man. It's kind of crazy. It's really fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it is actually legitimately fucking terrifying. I didn't know we were doing a fucking sci-fi horror podcast today.
So I did
now that I'm not gonna fucking sleep tonight.
I fell slightly down like a AI rabbit hole this afternoon, like late morning when I was reading this. So I was reading about like the history of Alexa, right? Like just a brief thing on it. So like 5 years ago it was created so it would become a thing where we would meaning like society would purchase things with our voice without actually looking at like the prices or competitors or the options. Really, it would just say like Alexa, order me some toothbrushes, and then they would just go like, okay, Alexa's getting Amazon toothbrushes for you,
right?
And they could charge you like theoretically they could charge
whatever
you,
the fuck they want.
whatever they wanted, and you just get a bill at the end of it. So that was the purpose of it, right? And Amazon views Alexa internally. I've read Amazon views Alexa as this horrible failure because it gouges money, like it just like bleeds money, like billions of dollars a year or something. And the only thing people do with it are the same things I do with it, which are to ask it the weather or to ask it to play music, and once in a while I have it adjust my smart lights for me.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Like, it
Well,
doesn't...
it's like I don't think they have them anymore, but they had those buttons, right? Where like...
Oh, those, yeah, like, order me some more paper towels.
Yeah, and
paper,
you would,
and it's a
like...
button just for paper towels.
Yeah, and it would like it predated Alexa, but you would order like Tide or paper towels, and you would put it on the side of your refrigerator, and you would just press the button.
You know,
it would connect to your Wi-Fi, and it would automatically send you fucking Tide. And they came and went. Right?
I remember
like,
that, but they tried the fucking thing. They tried to charge you for the per button,
per the button,
and it was like a single item that it could order. It couldn't do anything
Yeah.
else. Like, it just ordered boxes of water,
Right.
or just pens.
So you paid for a button. It only fucking sent you a single item.
Yeah,
And if the price on that item changed,
it didn't matter.
it didn't matter because that's what you were getting. So like,
Oh yeah, that's Amazon all along has been trying to like just get you to be habitually getting everything from them and really not factoring in the price, I guess, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. So yeah, so apparently like Alexa lost like $10 billion last year or some shit.
Really?
I don't know how, but yeah, that's I think they like take a small loss on some of their devices that they sell with it. Like when they do those like Black Friday things, they basically give those fucking Echo things away for like $5, and they have to cost slightly more than that.
I'm sure that is like, you know, like it's like a loss leader. Like at the end of the day, there's still a retail model, right? So like if you go into a grocery store or a department store and they have like any store that has like an end cap on the aisle, like usually whatever is on the end cap of the aisle is like the thing that's on the biggest sale, right? And it's a loss leader. Like you're going to take, like, I don't know, you're going to put a product on the end of the aisle and you are going to price it like at cost. Like it's like a crazy sale. It's
to drive
like
people there.
yeah, it's the one that people like walk past and go, oh, fuck, like I wouldn't even normally buy that, but at this price, I need to fucking buy it because they're actually taking a loss on the item because when you make a right into that aisle that you've now been drawn into because of the end cap, there are like 3 or 4 products in that aisle that you're now going to buy because you bought the first item because they partner with it, like they pair with it. And that's where they're going to make like the money back, you know, 2 or 3 times over what they would have made over there. Because if you don't buy the first product, you don't consider buying the second, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like a part, you know, like if there were, I don't know why I can't possibly think of an example right now, but like if it was like shoelaces, right, was on the end of the aisle and you were like, oh fuck, they're only 5 cents, like when they should be like $5, they're gonna fucking lose, they're gonna like be negative on fucking profit on that because it cost them 15 cents, so they're gonna lose 10 cents. But
like
now
a shit
you're
ton of socks or something.
now you're buying shoes in the fucking aisle,
Yeah.
and those cost them $5, but selling them for 80, and they're making a shit ton more money because you weren't going to buy shoes, but now you bought the shoelaces, so fuck, I might as well get shoes because like it just influences the way you're thinking. And I am sure that like as Amazon is giving away fucking Alexas and bullshit like that on Black Friday, that is
Oh yeah.
or was the thought process. Like people are just going to buy more shit because we're giving this away for free. We're going to make up the money because of all the stuff they're going to buy. This is going to drive revenues through the roof.
I think that
It's still a volume business.
the head of their like I don't know, some kind of like product development thing acknowledged publicly at some point over the last couple of years that was what the intention of the Alexa things were, right? That they would like take a loss on them just so you could now have like an Alexa in your room that you would be like, yo, let me get some paper towels, and they would just get like $25 of paper towels for like $50, you know?
Yeah.
But that never really panned out that way because I don't know. Great.
I mean, dude, I'll do it just on like buy it again.
Like, what do you mean? Like, just like to subscribe to something? You mean?
No. So like sometimes, so like if you're looking for something that I did it recently. Like I bought like dog tethers, right? Like these things that like you clip into, like there's those bolts, not bolts, but like brackets that are in your seats.
Yeah.
That you clip into, and you like either put like a baby's car seat on there and tether it, or like you can, there's like a dog seat belt, basically. You put it to like the tethers in the thing, and then you clip it to their collar, and then there's like
I know what you're talking about.
a seat belt. So, you know, I needed a new one because someone broke one of the ones in my back seat, which is a whole other fucking story. But so I go into my previous orders, and like, you know, indiscriminately, I'm like, well, I want the same ones I had, so I click buy it again. And they're double the price they were when I bought them a year ago. So, like, if you just go to that buy it again, and they've jacked the price up on something that they probably have 6,000 of these things sitting in a fucking warehouse in a single box because they don't take up space. So you click buy it again, and now you're fucking now you're being shipped this product for double the cost and double your initial retail price with the same fucking cost because they bought the whole thing in bulk 4 fucking years ago. It's been paid for with the first 100 orders. But now your order 101 and they've doubled the price, but that's the product and the quality that you want. So you're fucking buying it. And you're not only that, but you're buying it indiscriminately because it is something you're going to have to replace from time to time. They bank on that.
Oh yeah. No, they did. I mean, like actually the same exact thing happened with my my soap, my body wash, right? Like it was obscenely cheap on Amazon, right? Like it was much cheaper than like Acme or the grocery store down the street. So I subscribed to it and I like got it shipped like once a month, like a two pack of like body wash, right?
Yeah.
And it was like $1.99. It was just so cheap. Like it was so cheap. And then one day I look and it's like $14.99 for the same 2 or something. Like it went up like 5-fold, like more than 5-fold. It just got so much. And there's no alert. There's no nothing really. So it's all just banking on like, I guess Amazon's whole thing is to bank on like just becoming your go-to everything,
for everything.
So you don't really think about the prices, right? It's like basically that's what they are, I guess.
It looks so. Amazon dash buttons were officially discontinued
Dash buttons
on February of 2019. Existing buttons continued to function until last year, but now they're all dead.
Do you know they have Amazon smart rings, like a ring they put on your finger, like not like a mood ring, but like a smart ring?
No, what?
I think it can like
what? Like the ones like I know they make the rings that are like what do they call it? Like basically like fitness trackers. Are you talking about that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, like can measure your like I don't know blood oxygen levels or some shit.
I don't need fucking Amazon having
no
access to my fucking height, weight, and fucking heart rate, so they know exactly how fast the robot has to chase me to give me a fucking heart attack. Like, no, thank you. You don't need that fucking info.
I'll tell you what, to like revisit slightly like an older story from just recently, like whatever. Google at least has not begun applying that information yet because Google knows all of my fitness information and they still underestimate my arrival times on my bicycle all the time. Like they just don't know how fast I move. So
I don't know if I trust Amazon or Google less, and I think about it.
I don't trust any of them really. Like honestly,
I think about it a lot, and honestly, I think I trust fucking Microsoft less than either of them.
Really? I was gonna say I think Microsoft's the one I trust the most.
Absolutely, because fucking Bill Gates, the guy fucking like the guy forewarned us about a pandemic and conveniently had tons of money invested in all 3 vaccine companies, and now he's warning about a second one and it's probably going to come from mosquitoes, but meanwhile he's developed a new malaria vaccine and he has his fucking jets were seen releasing mosquitoes over fucking Texas and Florida. Like, no, I don't trust Microsoft.
I mean,
I do not.
I don't know. Google.
I trust it the least by far.
For the first like 18 or 20 years of Google's existence, they had they have like a little buffer period like where when you're like in programming languages where you can put like notes in, right? Like this thing took me 15 minutes to program. It gave me it's not read by computers per se, but it's meant for human eyes, right?
Sure.
So at the bottom of all of their code, they had a little thing that said "Don't be evil." Like hard coded into every piece of code everything they made.
They removed it
until 2018, and then it just says like oh fuck, what does it say now? I forget. God damn it! But they removed "Don't be evil," which to me seems incredibly ominous. Like you don't have to tell me that you're evil. You just have to tell me that you're not trying to be evil you're not trying to not be evil anymore. Right?
Yeah, I mean that's
it sounds stupid, but
as innocuous as it fucking sounds. It's not, because it is a moral fucking code that like you are, but like whether you take seriously or not the culture of your company, it does resonate with the way they do business.
Sure.
So like, and most, every fucking company is like, has like something that they've, most businesses are like, we're a great place to work. We're going to do good. And then you work there and you're like, it's like, where are the TPS reports? We're going to need you to come in on Saturday.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck happened to the company culture? But inevitably, what they fucking have written down, and almost more importantly, what they don't have written down. So here's the thing. What they have written down could be bullshit, right?
Oh, like the don't be evil thing, right?
Yeah, or anything. Like anything at all. Like,
Sure.
Like we treat everyone with respect, like
we
whatever.
love homosexuals.
Whatever
sure.
whatever the fuck they want to like put in writing. That could be bullshit. Like at my company, at my current company, it is like, every Friday between Memorial Day and Labor Day, we have summer Fridays, and we have no problem with you being off at 3:00, which doesn't fucking happen because all of the meetings are scheduled like 4 or 4:30. Like it doesn't happen. Like typically I end up working twice as long on a fucking Friday because like all the restaurants are going into the weekend. So that's when they have all their problem and their fucking tech crashes and fucking like I'm getting phone calls left and right. What they say, there's a percentage of it that's going to be fucking bullshit. But what they don't say, that's fair game. Right? So like,
What do you mean?
So if a company has don't be evil as a fucking tenet of the company, you can be like, all right, well, okay, whatever, that's bullshit. But if the company doesn't have don't be evil, it's free game to be evil.
Yeah, exactly. Like for me, like why don't you just continue the lie, like perpetuate the lie, right? Like how evil are you now?
Because they're doing it in plain fucking sight.
I guess.
It's just so that one day really fucking soon, if we're all like not pretending to be blind, when they turn around and fuck you to your face, they're like, this shouldn't be a surprise. Like, what are you surprised about?
Yeah.
You asked for this. And that's like, honestly, that's like, I hate when I do hand gestures. Like,
it's like an Italian thing, like just talking with your hands, right?
It's not just that. It's just like,
pod.
Exactly. It's like, this is why we need cameras. Like for the emphasis, like I do it on phone calls too. Like I was doing it yesterday. Like I took a call and Allegra was driving because I was on a call, and the whole time I'm like making gestures with my hand and like
Not on a video, like a telephone call, not a video call, right?
Yeah, a telephone call, like doing air quotes and like doing it. I'm like, why am I doing this? Nobody can see what the fuck I'm doing. But what was I actually saying before that made me hand gesture? Right. It was fucking 1984, which you brought up. So that was like one of the things. So like, there are just so many things in that like came to fruition over time, right? Like first of all, there's the whole like concept of the media controlling everything and completely controlling the narrative, which is like at one point they're in this massive war, and at one point they just change who the enemy and the ally is, like in the middle of the book. And this guy's like, well, this doesn't even make sense. Like we were at war with these guys yesterday, but they're like, now it's just addressed like, this is the enemy. They have always been the enemy. This is the person we need to hate.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, the media does that on a regular in
the book there's like a team of people whose sole job it is to literally go and rewrite the books of history every day to fit with the current narrative.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so a very good recent example of this, not to fucking go down a rabbit hole that I know you don't want to go down, but a great fucking recent example of this is like the whole vaccine, when, and this is one of those things. It's like, it tells you who's really running things. So when Trump was in office and they were developing the vaccine, the fucking Democratic Party was like, Biden in particular was like, I wouldn't take the vaccine. I wouldn't take anything that's developed under Trump. How could you even trust it? And then Biden takes office and mandates the vaccines. And he's like, it's the only way to stop the spread and like whatever. And what does that tell you? So like, first of all, that's a 180 narrative change. Like it's a complete, just like one story was one story. And like, I remember like all of the like very, very left people that I know were just like, oh, there's no fucking way I'm putting that in my body. And then 6 months later, all of the fucking people on the right were like, there's no fucking way I'm putting that on my body. And all the people on the left were like, you're a fucking piece of shit if you don't. And it's like, both of you were on the opposite side 6 months ago. Now, like 4 years in, with the narrative change, everybody's just committed to the narrative that they've been involved with for 4 years. Now, what does that fucking tell you? It tells you that the drug companies are really in charge.
Oh,
well, they're the ones.
I feel like we've talked about this before.
We have, but like, it's just such a telltale sign. And then you have like there's dumb shit like there was a thing. So when 1984 was written, the movies were still called the talkies. People would go to the talkies. So they
just got audio in their films.
Right. But in the book, they call it the feelies. And one of the things is like the seats vibrate. And like when you watch something, you hold on to something and it vibrates in your hand when there's like a crash. And that's fucking vibrating video game controllers and vibrating seats in the movie theater now. And like there's just so many things that are just on the fucking nose. Terrifying. But like the worst one of all is like, to me, is the whole idea of like, there's cameras in everybody's houses and there's microphones in everyone's houses, and they're listening to what you say and they're listening to what you think, and they can convict you of thought crime, which is like, I don't agree. Like, it's as simple as like, I don't agree with the media narrative.
If you just think it in your head, right? Because at that point, in the book, they have the power to like read your thoughts.
If they assume, well, they don't have the power to read your thoughts, but if they assume based on the fact that you're not openly supporting the narrative, they assume you're against it. That's, and they try you for thought crime. So it's like, if you look at everything that surrounds that concept, right? There's first of all, there's the microphones and speakers and cameras in your home, and that's your Ring doorbell and your Alexa and your Apple HomePod and the cameras on your fucking laptop and your phone and your TV, which everybody knows your fucking smart TV with the remote controls that listen to you. And they say, like, at a certain part of the book, they're like, the worst part of it is like the people didn't have it forced on them. They actually asked for it. Right? Like, I asked to be fucking listened to. So when you sign those fucking waivers, like, you are consenting in many of them to like that they can access your mic at any fucking time. They can access your camera at any fucking time. And then it's like the whole fucking, thought crime thing. That is fucking cancel culture. Like 100 fucking %. Because sure, there are people that like it came out that like they did or said some pretty awful fucking things. But then there's also a lot of people, and probably a lot more than not, where they can't, it's just suggested that they did, and like nothing's proven and nothing's fucking known, or they just like support a side that isn't like fucking Roseanne Barr's TV show is canceled because she didn't fucking support, like, she's not, I mean, she's basically like a fucking liberal, honestly, but like she didn't support like very far left shit, and then she got canceled. Like,
Well, yeah, she specifically, because then they like put that.
They
show
tried to
on
keep the
without
show
her.
on.
I think it's still on, isn't it?
but there's no, it got canceled like within a month. But there are so many people who just like went away because they just didn't support whatever the fucking public narrative is. And that, like, I'm not fucking taking a stand on like what I fucking believe or don't, but like I don't even remember who fucking said it, but it is that famous quote that's like, I feel uneducated for not knowing who said it, but like the whole idea of like, I may disagree with everything you say, but I will fight for the death for your right to say it. Yeah, right to say it,
sure.
Like, that's how the fuck it's got to be. Mm-hmm. And if it's not that way, then I don't think I want to be here. Now, where the fuck am I going to go? I don't know, because other places are theoretically fucking worse. But, I don't know. Like, would I rather be fucked to my face? Would I rather
physically have like a dick in and out of your mouth? Like,
yes, that's what I mean. No, like, I mean, would terrifying. I almost think, I had this conversation yesterday about something completely different, like with one of my employees who came to me with a problem. And I was like, I kind of thought that this is how you were feeling about this, but you didn't bring it up and I didn't want to push the issue. Like, and, this particular person was like, yeah, it's just like, we've only worked together for like 6 months, so I don't have like a long-standing relationship, so I'm not bringing everything up. And I was just like, this particular person I do think is my best employee. And I was like, just fucking know this. I was like, I do think you're the best person I have. I do support your growth and your development until the second that you stop supporting me. I was like, and the reality is like, if you come to me, like, say, I need to talk to you, and you sit down and tell me you think I'm an asshole to my face in those words, I will have way more fucking respect for you than if you go to someone else and talk about whatever I did that bothered you in a way that's like negative. Like, just the honesty, like the honesty of fuck you, I respect way more than the dishonesty of like covertly being fucked. So it's like, are there places worse? I don't know. That depends on like what type of being fucked over you respect. If you respect it at all,
The so like on the cancel culture note, right? I fully believe that is a creation of social media. It's
to a large extent, yeah.
I honestly I hear, not to say that I'm not impacted by it, because I like maybe some performers I like whatever aren't affected by it, but I'm not on social media, so I don't ever really hear or see or know any of this outrage that exists online, right? Because it mostly just exists online. Like, people don't go out in public and start talking about how they don't like Jenny McCarthy about whatever on vaccines, or how they don't like this about Biden or this about Trump. Like, people feel much more freely to complain about things like on the internet, I guess. So in some weird way, I feel like I know of cancel culture. I'm not like ignorant to what it is, right? Like, I fully get it, but I'm not actively aware of it or who is being affected by it or any of those things, because I don't see
it's not
the social media side of it.
It's definitely like predicated by social media. I think that's where it like takes its root, but also like it's also just media. Right? Well, yeah. It's also just like, because where are you being canceled? Like, you can't be canceled, quote unquote, unless people like unless you're beholden to someone who can cancel you, right? So like, good example is like Louis C.K., right? Like, they did their best to like cancel him, but he just has like a very fucking loyal fan base. Like, whatever your opinion of him or what happened or whatever, and like, I'm not here to debate that. He was just like, Yeah, I'm still gonna tour and I'm still gonna do specials.
As
And
well, I should. He just jerked off. Like whatever.
right with
I don't want. Let's not.
yeah,
It's a different story.
just,
But
yeah, let me not go down that road. And he's just like, I'm gonna do my specials and I'm gonna tour and I'm gonna sell tickets. And if I have to go to different venues, then fine. I'll pack. Like I will sell out the smaller venue that wants the business 4 nights a week rather than selling out the larger venue 2 nights a week. Fine, whatever. And I will record the shows and that will be my special and I'll put it on my website and people will buy directly from my website. And that's fucking that. Mm-hmm. And he's making more money with a loyal fan base than he is with like not, or like another, frankly, probably the best example is probably Rogan, just in like how aggressively they tried to take him down and they couldn't because like, yeah, he has a contract with Spotify, but it's a Swedish company that doesn't give a fuck what American pharmaceutical companies want. Mm-hmm. They put him on CNN and like they actually doctored the videos to make his skin look yellower. And he had fucking the guy that did it from CNN on his show. And he's like, look at the videos side by side. Why did you do this? And the guy was just like, like couldn't fucking answer. And like every time they fucking attacked him, it wound up spiking his fucking listenership because they just didn't even like realize like he's not beholden to someone else. Like all of his income is like self-generated, so we can't fucking cancel. And like in some ways, assuming that like, and I don't assume that it won't. I assume that if I'm betting, if I was to make bets, I would put it all on this is the end of the road. Like,
what do you mean this?
Like our society. Like
we're just going to, okay.
This is the
elaborate. I'm a little curious.
I mean, there's a lot of directions it could fucking go.
Like California and New York could get drowned into the fucking ocean tomorrow, right? Because there's like
sure. So yeah, like we can go. We could say apocalyptic. We can go that route, but also like just like this is the fall of a fucking empire.
Like this is the beginning of Idiocracy. Have you seen the Mike Judge movie?
Yeah,
the epic like foretelling. That's going to be the Bible of our fucking world.
I don't think that, I don't think that type of thing lasts forever.
What, idiot? Like stupid people taking over the world?
Yeah. Eventually, and I think it won't take that long. Like, when an empire fucking falls, it may be the end of an empire, but it's not the end of like that culture and that civilization. Like they still go on to do other things, right?
Yeah, they gave their plants Gatorade or some shit.
And like at some point, like people say like, look at what we used to be. We're still going to aspire to be that. And like, maybe we recognize that like someone else is like the big power right now, but like that doesn't mean we can't do good things and like settle for being shitty, right? Like Italy is not like a piece of shit country that's falling the fuck apart, but it's not Rome. It's not the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
England is not a country that's falling apart at the seams. I mean, it is more than other countries compared to like its previous status, but it's not the British Empire anymore. Fucking, like eventually we will go that route over time. It might take like 40 years, 50 years, but like we'll get to a place. But like this is the end of us as a global superpower, without a fucking doubt.
Oh, I thought you meant like civilization as a whole.
No,
not just like United States or whatever.
Yeah, no. This is the end of. If I am betting that in some way, shape, or form, this is the end of the world. Now it could be fucking apocalyptic because we have a completely senile fucking leader that could do whatever at any fucking point in time, and that's terrifying. But more likely than not, it's just like the end of us functioning as like an independent civilization. you know? And if that were not to happen, then I think ultimately, like, what we do get out of, I see now we're a philosophy podcast. I think what we do get out of, like, the whole thing that took place with, like, you know, the very, like, no one trusts corporate media anymore, like, including the people who trust it don't trust it, you know?
Yeah, the people that are on the news anchors don't trust it. Yeah.
Like, the people who are just like, I will only watch this channel. Like, even they are just like, I know they're fucking lying to me, but they're telling me the lies I like. You know?
On that
like,
note, I think Rupert Murdoch stepped down yesterday. Like, finally, that fucking old Fox dude.
did he?
Yeah,
I thought he sold it long ago.
He sold everything but Fox News. He sold everything but Fox News to like Disney or something. But he finally stepped down from all that shit. So
You know, a very interesting fucking example of this is why can't I think of his name? He's like the number 2 media guy in the whole fucking world. Tucker Carlson. Mm-hmm. Who, like, a year ago, everyone on the left is like, he's a fucking racist piece of shit. And everyone on the right is like, he's our fucking guy, right? Mm-hmm. And now he just does a completely independent show. And, like, he got kicked off Fox. And he does a completely independent show and he broadcasts it on Twitter. And everyone on the right is like, he's a fucking traitor. It's like...
I'm sorry, say that again.
Everyone on the right is like, he's a fucking traitor.
Oh.
Because he now, and he admits it, he's like, well, now that I'm not beholden to them for my fucking paycheck, I can speak honestly. Mm-hmm. And he's like, and I still think the guys on the side that I talked bad about before are fucking idiots, but I also think these guys are fucking idiots too. And now that, like, you see, like, there's still plenty of people who are like, yo, he's a piece of shit. But, like, I don't listen to him talk, so, you know, take it in context of what I'm saying. But when I hear the things he has to say now, I'm like, oh, this is actually a pretty fucking rational guy that, like, has a really negative image based on who he was affiliated with. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, if I listened to him talk a year ago, I'm like, you're saying some fucking shit. That's like, I can't really get behind.
I think it came out that he would, like, openly disagree with the things he was being told to say the air.
Yeah.
Like, they fed him a script and that's what it was, you know?
And he was like, I can't keep fucking doing this. And like, the day before he got fired, he basically was like just blew it up, right? Blew up, did this, like, whole fucking thing of, like, it doesn't matter what side you're on. Corporate is the corporate media and they're still controlled by the same people. Like, the bigger companies that control, like, there's these massive news corporations and they are owned by these massive financial institutions that are the same massive financial institutions that fucking control everything you eat and buy. And, like, they are all fucking, like, there is, like, a behind the scenes fucking cabal of, like, you know, global superpowers that is, like, working against you. And they were like, you are fucking gone. And he's like, okay, I'll do my own fucking thing. And he figured out a way to not get fucking canceled. And I think, like, to just go to the original thought, is, like, I think the thing that ultimately can, at least I hope, come of that is we do get away from a place where, like, the media is, you know, like, everything is, like, conglomerized. Mm-hmm. And that does give way to, like, a DIY scene of everything, you know, of information outlets and of fucking artistic outlets and of fucking entertainment outlets. And, like, because, like, as these fucking conglomerations fucking crumble, people aren't going to just stop being creative. Mm-hmm. You know, you might get some of the best fucking art you've ever seen. You might get some of the most informed opinions you've ever fucking heard. And if there's, like, if the people that control the fucking censorship fall apart, then it can't be fucking held back anymore. And that's fucking 1984 too. If you control the language, like, that is something that is actually a terrifying fucking point. Like the whole game of like politically correct speech and fucking pronouns and like whatever your stance is, and I don't give a fuck. But the reality is the entire concept of 1984, and additionally, by the way, the entire fucking premise of George Carlin's entire fucking career.
George Carlin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, is like everything he did centered around language. Mm-hmm. Like all of it. He always brought it back to that. And he always brought it back to this point that was also one of George Orwell's points, which is if you control the language that people are allowed to use, he's like, people think in language. Mm-hmm. So if you control the language that they use and the language that they know, you are by proxy controlling their thoughts. And that it's as simple as that.
Interesting.
Like you control the quality of the language, you control the quality of the thought.
Yeah.
And that was basically the entire premise at its core of like 1984. Like it started with censorship. Mm-hmm. It started with like, you have to refer to these people as this and those people as that and this thing is that thing and you can't use these words.
They told you what books you could read and what books you can't read, right? Like they wrote the books. They literally wrote the books.
And that was a whole, like there are tons of people, that are convinced that Carlin was killed.
Yeah?
Like tons. Like, dude, you should go. Like, I think your mind would fucking explode. Like, if you went, you could fucking. Carlin's like super interesting, and also like, if I'm being like, I grew up on Carlin, right? Like, my dad raised me on fucking Carlin videos. We had like all of his specials on VHS. There was a point in his career, like he was just doing character work. You know, like he was like. You know, he did this thing called like the Hippy Dippy Weatherman, and he had like a bunch of characters, and he was still funny, but he wasn't like an on the edge, thought provoking guy. And then he like got to a point where he was like, because like he was being told to do, he's like, you know, these are the characters that get you on TV. This is how you make money. And he was like, I'm fucking miserable doing this, and he snapped, and he's like, I'm not fucking doing it. And then he did a special where he like, this is like, you know, peak FCC. And I'm sure you know the phrase 7 dirty words, right? Like he did this whole thing about the 7 words that you're not allowed to say on TV. And he did it in a special, and he did it on live TV, and he got arrested and charged by the FCC.
I did not know he got arrested.
Yeah. And he's considered like, you know, like Lenny Bruce started modern stand-up comedy, and then fucking Carlin like blew the doors open by saying like, you know, fuck the censorship and fuck the people who can, you know, are trying to control you. But he got progressively darker and darker and darker, and honestly like less and less funny. And like towards the end, you're not watching him to laugh, you're watching him to go like, what's he gonna tell me, because I need to know what he's gonna say. In that last fucking special, it is grim.
I'll
like
watch it.
Dude,
I can't say if I've ever seen it. I don't know.
He's clearly not well. He's gained like, he's always like a scrawny guy, like the kind of guy who you knew based on like his body type that when he was like on his deathbed, he would be like a skeleton. He had like gained all this weight. He wasn't healthy. He wasn't breathing good. And like all of the shit he was fucking saying was very like they are in control. They are controlling what you can say, and they are controlling the language so that they can control how you think. And like he starts out with this fucking rant, and it's like this whole rhyme, and it's called Modern Man. And he's just like going off about all of this like paradoxical like shit in society. And he's like there are times where it just like pops into my head, and I'm just like, you know, it's like a shower thought type of thing. But he's like, I'm a modern man. And he's like, you know, I'm this, I'm that, you know, I'm an alpha male on beta blockers. And
There's a DJ that made a hit. That's a song. Like that whole thing is clipped together into a song.
Yeah.
I'll have to play it for you after this.
It's fucking...
I'm a man on beta blockers.
Yeah, I'm an alpha male on beta blockers, and he's just... And, like, all of it, like, as like, if you're really, like, you're, like, you know, you're lifting it, and you're, like, laughing because you're, like, oh, this is, like, silly. Like, he's pointing out all these, like, you know, fucking paradoxes and logical fallacies and, you know, contradictions. And it's funny, but if you actually, like, process it, you go, holy shit. And like including his daughter, like Kelly Carlin is like, no, he was murdered. He was murdered because he was inside the system. He knew the fucking system, and he used stand-up as a vehicle to fucking expose like the deep state, and they fucking came after him.
Do you know, like, I feel kind of terrified right now because I just had this realization that, so like I've mostly been off the internet, like as far as, you know, like most people use it for, I don't know, 7, 8, so like for a long time now, right?
Yeah.
In that period of time, the world has become so much more unhinged. Like, I remember the internet like 7 or 8 years ago, but now I have to imagine that the conspiracy theorists have all now learned how to use a keyboard and are like now chattering away, whereas like before, maybe they didn't have a Facebook, or Facebook was still a new thing or whatever it was. I feel a little bit terrified of what it actually really is now, and I probably will never really return to it in that manner, but like, fuck, man, that's kind of scary actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who also fucking like swear, like Carlin was like very vocal about like how much he hated like Fox News and like the Bush administration, and he was like one of the biggest like, you know, Bush is actually responsible for 9/11 type of guys. And see, this is like where like I sit in a weird fucking place because like, you know, so having not been on the internet for a while, one of the recurring memes is like about conspiracy theorists, and it's like particularly like surrounding COVID, but they're like there's like literally a tally every time something comes out, and they're like conspiracy theorists like 5-0 since 2019, 7-0 since 2019, 11-0 since 2019, because all of these, like, legitimately there's a giant list of like shit that people were like, you're fucking nuts, you're a conspiracy theorist, and every fucking thing on the list has been like proven factual. And that was one of Carlin's fucking things where he was like, he's like, don't let him call you a conspiracy theorist. He's like, that's something they do to try to discredit you and make you look fucking crazy when you don't buy into their bullshit when the lies are obvious. And that always fucking stuck with me. Like, you know, I remember like watching him when I was like, you know, 10, 11. And like, you know, I would watch it and like my grandmother would come over and she'd hear him saying like fucking shit. And she'd be like, you can't watch this, and fucking yell at me. I'm like, my dad bought this for me, I can watch it. And she would get mad. But like all of the, like I swear he's like the biggest influence on how I think, period. And this is where like I sit in a weird fucking space, because I think people in general see me as being like, you know, I always say like if I'm in a room of people who are like on the left, they think I'm on the right. If I'm in a room of people on the right, they think I'm on the left. But I think in general, I come across as being kind of like right wing. But I don't think I am. I don't think I've changed. But 10 years ago, everyone would be like, dude, you're like on the fucking left. I have not fucking changed my position on nearly anything. I think right and left have flipped. And they're different things now.
They've definitely gone to the extremes. Like, they are the
I don't even think
now.
They're the extremes themselves.
Like, I don't think that there's there used to be most of the population was like centrist, right? Like middle of the road people, like generally.
Centrist, yeah.
Yeah. Like, sometimes they vote for Democrats, sometimes they vote for Republicans. That is not the case anymore.
It's not the case anymore.
That is not the fucking case anymore. Like, It's very much not the case anymore.
If
It's like people go and just do like what's it called? Like when they just do all one side. Like I forget what the fuck the term is.
they vote along party lines.
Yeah, but well, yeah.
So if you, but like, just think about like general things, right? Like, if you go back to like when we were in like middle school, right? Mm-hmm. Like, go back to like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and the Iraq War, and all of that shit.
That's what you think of when we're in middle school with Dr. Dre?
Yeah, it's 100% what I think of. Remember, like, and maybe you will or won't remember this shit, but like the whole like parental advisory, explicit lyrics.
Yeah.
That was Al Gore.
Was it?
Yeah. Al and Tipper Gore were the ones who advocated for the fucking Parental Advisory Act because they were very, very pro censorship. Right? Like,
Is it censorship or is it like, I guess it might be. It's like, because I guess it creates then like the fact that exists creates a censored version, right?
Right.
Like the radio version or whatever.
go into the 2000s, it's the fucking Republicans who are all about censorship because it's family values. It's like, these are our family values and we can't have them compromised, and we can't have people like putting this thought into young people's heads. And like, but it wasn't like music at that point. It was like TV and film and news. But go now and it's the left again, who's very pro censorship. Like literally to the point where like there are people on the left who are like, we want to repeal the First Amendment. That's fucking insane. If you go back to the fucking, I mean, fuck, as long as I remember from fucking, my dad was always really political, so I was always at least like aware of it, even when I was young. But like Reagan, Bush, the second Bush, like that was like war. Like Republicans were the war party. Today, Republicans are the parties that are like, get the fuck out of the war. Like, we should have nothing to do with Ukraine. We should have nothing to do with the Middle East. But the left is like, support Ukraine, go in and fucking blow up Syria. Like, all of the things have flipped. Like, the right is the left and the left is the right.
Yeah, so is it do you think it's just the political like architect or whatever that has like flipped the political lines? Because I feel like too, like maybe people are just really fucking stupid, because I remember didn't the this is kind of slightly irrelevant to it, but maybe not, like the food pyramid literally gets flipped upside down.
No, that's 100%. That's 100%
every
relevant.
10 years it's like boop boop boop, like back and forth, right?
No, that's 100% fucking relevant. So that's actually a great fucking point. So like, war was right, now it's left. Censorship was right, now it was left, right, left.
Eggs were great, and then they're high cholesterol, they're killers, and now they're delicious, and then they're whatever.
Nutrition was part of like the family value thing, and now it's part of the fucking, no meat, fucking eat grasshopper protein, fucking, like whatever. That's what, cow farts are killing the environment. Meanwhile, fucking, you go to fucking Syria and they're burning fucking 48 million tires in a fucking field, like producing 10 times over.
And that vegan like almond milk takes fucking 80 something gallons of water to.
Dude, they put fucking, there's this whole like Blue Zone documentary out now, which is like, we studied all the cultures that like live past 100 and this is the diet you should do, but they like selectively put the information out there and it's like all like vegan, and then you trace the funding for the movie and it's like fucking pro one side,
dude,
environment.
This is go on.
In the fucking it was like environmentalism was the right, and then it was the left, and then it was the right, and that it's like, I think so. Yes, I think it's people are stupid, but I this gets like dark and sounds fucking crazy, but it's like, what else could it be other than the fact that they're just trying to see how dumb people are and trying to do that 1984 thing where it's like the enemy are these guys. And then like mid broadcast, they change and they say, we're at war with the other side. Mm-hmm. And then like if tomorrow they were like, we're at war with the Ukraine.
It's just that.
And all of a sudden everybody fucking supported that with like indiscriminately without thinking. Like they are literally doing that with our fucking political positions. I have people who I am close with now who believe so strongly in shit that they were so completely against 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And just because the side, and I mean, I'm not singling out, right? I like on fucking both sides of the spectrum who are just completely fucking against what they were completely fucking for 3-4 years ago. Well, just because the side that they're saying is like pro that. And if you talk to them, no, I never fucking thought like that. I have another friend who's also named Jay, oddly enough, who is just like, whatever. I won't even get into it. It's just like, there are so many examples of it I could think of. Like, I can only think that somebody who is controlling both sides is fucking with us to see like how much control they actually have. It's the only thing I could think of.
The thing that really fucks me up is that like in this conversation what you're talking about, the two sides, right, are there's only two sides that exist by design because that's what the two sides want, right? Like there is no like Philadelphia is a perfect example of this. When I went to like when I moved and I re-registered to vote, I had to select a political party, and I was previously I've been everything from like I'm not Republican, sorry, Democrat to Green Party to Independent, and when I went to do it this time, the only options were Republican, Democrat, unknown, or other, like basically agnostic or what's it called for like politics. So I am other. I'm literally other because there's only black and white. There's no gray. There's no color or gray or anything else.
So that's a Carlin thing too. He's like, you don't have a choice. He's like, you don't. So you got to watch the fucking last spot, and you'll probably go back and watch the others after this too.
I've seen, but I think I watched with my dad like a long time ago.
He does a lot. He goes on this whole thing more than once in more than one special about like the owners that he's like, you do not have leaders, you have owners. They own you. He's like, they own the media, they own the products you buy, they own the land you live on, they can knock your house down without asking you if you fucking want. He's like, they own you. They own all the good real estate, they own all the most important companies, and it is not right or left, it's a big fucking club. He's like, these people are not fucking Republicans and Democrats. He's like, they eat at the same clubs, they go to the same parties, they're at each other's weddings. He's like, it is a big fucking club, and you are not in it. It is a class war.
Skull and crossbones or some shit, right?
He's like, it's not a war of sides, it's a war of class, and you're not in that fucking class.
Yeah. It's fairly accurate.
It's completely accurate.
The Freemasons, the skull and bone, what is it? Skull and bones or something?
Skull and bones.
Skull and bones. The Illuminati is like a whole different thing, but like
the
those
Bilderbergs.
Are two, like but those two, like the Skull and Bones and the Freemasons are two very like publicly known places of exactly that, right? Like the elite, like like what is it? Like 18 of the first 30 presidents came out of like the Skull and Bones or some shit. Like it's not a coincidence when there's 18 of them, right?
Yeah,
it's like. So yeah. Red lights. This conversation took a little bit of a It's a big stop and emergency.
Well, we're an hour and a half in, which is long for us. So we want to call it before it gets creepier and we make more enemies.
After dinner XL. After dinner after dark.
I'm even a little like concerned to put this out. If I'm being fucking honest.
After dinner after dark.
Do it anyway. But
yeah. Let's wrap it up.
All right.
Get some more. Oh wait, I think we might be remiss. Hopefully we can get one more in before you have this like thing coming up. Yeah.
This thing. You can call it my wedding. That's easy enough to.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I didn't want to be the one to mention it necessarily first.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've mentioned it on here like dozens of times at this point.
But now it's getting all close. Like I got my tux in the mail and shit. So
yeah. No, we could definitely get. Did you try it on? Does it fit?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't try it on yet.
Yeah, you should do that. Just in case you got to swap out parts.
I think I might have to like stealthily bring a little recording device so I can get some audio for our podcast of your wedding.
Yeah, I would shout out Generation Talks and hope for a sponsorship. But after this fucking podcast, the company that owns them, and the company that owns them, and the company that owns them, we're probably enemies with now. So
well, it's probably like Kraft Macaroni or whatever. Right? Like it's fucking.
It's the Scheinhardt Wig Company.
Scheinhardt Wig Company. Oh my god, that fucking show.
Fuck. All right. See you guys later.
Later.